Hi, I'm Emilia. I've been here for nearly 6 months. I thought I'd just share my testimony with you because it's kind of to do with the Holy Spirit, and we're ending that series soon, and I leave on Monday, so I thought it'd be really great to share with you my experience with the Holy Spirit and my testimony really on how I came to meet God. So I've been a Christian for a year and a half nearly, maybe it's a year and a half. But when I first came to Bangalore, nearly a year. So I thought I'd share my testimony with you. So kind of started at university, so I was doing a degree. I did singing as a degree. It is a real degree. I was in my second year, and times were really hard for me. I just wasn't really gelling with it, and a friend said to me, go to the Alpha course. So I was like, okay, if you don't know of the Alpha course, it's kind of like a series where you go every week and there's a group of you, there's a bit of worship, there's food, and then there's a video discussing topics like who is Jesus, the Holy Spirit, just like quite big questions, and you just kind of discuss them in a group. So I went to this. Basically I went every week, and I kept going, and I wasn't really getting like much. I was getting something out of it, but I wasn't feeling this overwhelming like wow. So I kept with it, and I was enjoying meeting people then. It was really nice, and I'd ask kind of bizarre questions, just kind of testing people really, because I wasn't a believer. I'd been to Catholic school, and my experience with Christianity was Catholic school, and it kind of wasn't how it is now. And I'm so glad that I had that experience at Alpha. And basically I went, and there was a weekend away. And the weekend away was on the Holy Spirit, and the title was Being Filled with the Holy Spirit. And I went. I remember even my mother, I think, none of my family are Christians, was like, yeah, it'll be good for you, a little trip away. Obviously, wasn't really saying it was a really Christian thing, because it might scare her off. So I went, and it was amazing meeting all different people that weren't Christians. A lot of people that are on this aren't Christians. And I remember one day we had this Sunday service, but it wasn't a Sunday service, it was on a Saturday night. And it was just kind of, people were trying to learn how to speak in tongues, and they'd said, turn on the phone and you're talking to a friend and just go like, shla-la-la-la. I was, whoa, what is this? Like, what is this? I remember being like, what? I'm not sure if this is for me, but literally, I don't know why, but it kind of clicked with me. I was like, wow, I can't do it. But these people fully believe, and I never had that experience before when I knew that people believed in God, and they were around me and they were surrounding me. And I was like, wow, actually meeting these people, I know they truly believe, and feeling this overwhelming sense of something. I was like, what is happening to me? I remember I woke up at, I think it was 7. I'm not an early riser. Anyone that knows me will tell me that I'm not an early riser. Do not speak to me. I still am not an early riser. And I remember I woke up at 7 and I walked across it was on the shore, it was on the beach, so I walked across the beach with just some like worship music in. So I've really been getting into worship music. Even though I wasn't a Christian, I was like, I like this. I'm doing a degree in music, I appreciate music. So I remember listening to this worship music. And we had that morning, we had an actual Sunday service. And it was a really, really great service, and I loved everything that was in it. And then at the end they said, if anyone feels like God has spoken to them, please come forward and share. There was a huge line. I was like, what? How has everyone been speaking to God? Like, what? And someone came forward, and they were like, someone in this room, family member, has an illness, but they don't know what's wrong with them. And I was like, what? What? I was like, what's happening? So I kind of looked around me like, someone else is going to put their hand up and want prayer. Like, that can't be me. And at this time, my dad was actually really ill. So my dad had this kind of illness where he'd go for tests every 2-3 weeks. Spent lots of money on blood tests, cameras, the whole shebang. And basically he had like no energy, he was in pain. No one knew what was wrong with him. Like, we'd go on holiday and we couldn't do the things we used to do. Like, he couldn't kayak anymore. It was bizarre, and it was scary. As a family, it was hard for us. And I just thought, he's talking about my dad. Like, what? And I'm an emotional person now, but I wasn't that emotional then. And I just remember I burst out crying. I had this overwhelming sense of something, and I just cried. And the leaders of my team were like, what's wrong, Emilia? What's wrong? And I was like, it's my dad. And they were like, what? And I was like, I didn't want to tell you because I don't want you to feel sympathy for me. My dad's been really ill for the last 5 months. And they were like, that. And they were like, what? And I was like, yeah, my dad's been really ill. And it was the first time I'd had the laying of hands on me. So I had one person here, one person here. And they were like, should we just pray for you? And I just remember crying. I just remember praying to God and just being like, please God, like. And I basically just telling God that I trust in him. And I think I had to see a sign from someone. But I remember saying like, God, like, it's in your hands, like, it's your plan. And just kind of trusting in it. And then I had more people come over and they were like, please, can I pray for you? Like, I didn't know that it was you. So that was amazing. I was literally like, I've never been so jolly. I was like, yeah, I'm a Christian. Yeah. So I came back from my weekend away, and that night we had church. And I remember ringing up my dad, and then I was like, oh, hi, Dad. And he was like, hi. I was like, how are you? And he was like, good. Like, how was your Christian getaway? And I was like, really good, really, really good. And I just went, how are you feeling? And he said, yeah, don't want to say it. Bit of miracle, feel completely fine. And I was like, haha. He always says he's fine. He's one of those dads that he'll break a leg and he'll be like, it's only a scratch. And I remember like, what? So I was like, oh, that's great to hear. So I rang my mum up, because my mum actually tells the truth about these things. And I was like, how's Dad feeling? And she was like, weird. He feels completely fine. And I was on my way to church, and I was like, that really just solidified for me. I think God knew that everything that happened in my life, and like all these troubles where I'd gone to a Christian camp a couple of years before, really felt like I had a God's presence, and then kind of being put off it by like some family troubles. I feel like he was like, you need to see a sign, and you need to see that I'm working in your life. Like, I am there. So I was at church, and I was like, yeah, I love this. I'm a Christian. And ever since that, I remember I told the people that laid hands on me that week, and they were like, wow, this is amazing. Like these gifts. They were like, I didn't know I had the gift of healing. So for them, it was like a eye-opening experience. They're like, wow, something I did actually worked. And that really just led me to where I am today. And that's why I'm kind of here in India at the moment. And I just kind of like to remember that, like, though we face like difficult times, like God renews his grace in every situation we face, even when you don't know it. And that's kind of my experience of being like filled with the Holy Spirit, and it was an amazing experience, and that has led me to be here and to be a Christian and to be here helping out. So yeah, thank you for listening to my story. Bye.